All RW down here in the Mountain Storm shop, working on this custom tack fob for my repeat customer. Just wanted to show you some of the work that has to go into making a tack fob. So great, he gives me a pattern, that's fine. I cut out a router template. Okay, so basically I have to make the whole knife by hand, exactly perfect. Smooth all the edges, make sure all the edges are completely parallel. It's a fair amount of work. Okay. Then I can route out another blank, and here it is. And then I can bevel it, my bevel bit, 45 chamfer bit, and then I can polish it on my buffing wheel. And at this point, if you didn't want handles on it, we'd be good to go. I'll lash a lanyard onto it, and away we go. But he wants Bloodwood handles, so I've got my book-matched Bloodwood here. You can't see the other side right now because it's stuck down, but anyway, I have to stack up two parts for the handle profile and laminate them to something I can hang on to, because I got to move it around the router. I have to move it safely, so that'll be the next step, right? Route it, right? Got to get all my holes in it. I'm not going all the way through, so I got to drill part of the way in. Then I'll drill all the way through for the lanyard hole. Then I'll repeat, I'll stick them together, and I will round them over. And then I can pin them onto the knife and epoxy them, and then I'll do all my final sanding. Alright, I will show you a little bit more as we go. Routing Bloodwood is a real pain in the ass, which I know from past experience. It's real brittle. Loves to catch the router blade because it's really hard, and then it loves to tear itself to pieces. So these two pieces are junk now. I can't do anything with them. I don't think I can reposition that enough because I've already routed this side. I'm not able to get any more out of that, I don't think. Okay, as you can see, the router impact going around that little knob there literally split the piece into. So here I am getting ready to bandsaw out another piece. So as I cut a side, I put tape on it because these are book matched, and I want to keep the grain perfectly aligned as I go. Alright, so what did we learn? We learned that trying to take off even a 32nd of an inch is enough to destroy Bloodwood with the router. So it goes around one of these corners here, grab it and just split it in half. So I'm going to spindle sand these others, so I'll have to do this 3 times. I'll just try and do it twice. Go very slow and spindle sand it and get it as close as possible right up to the pencil line, and then just take off maybe a 64th. Okay, so now you can see I have very little overhang, especially on these real delicate areas. Just hope this one doesn't blow apart. Okay, you can see I had a successful routing experience this time. It's a wonderful thing. So, fun with Bloodwood continues. This time, while drilling the lanyard hole, just blew it to pieces. Lovely. Back to the drawing board. Right, this will be the 3rd attempt, and I blew that one up, drilling it. Using a, proper drill bit, proper backer, everything. When it got to the end, it just blew it up. Starting to wonder if I can put Bloodwood on these and put a lanyard hole in it. Figure that out. So I made a 3rd pair of blanks. Got them profiled real tight. Got them routed. Got the pinholes drilled. And once again, drilling the lanyard hole. That's all she wrote. So all I can think is that I'm going to have to put an oversized block on here and drill the pinholes and drill the lanyard hole first and then profile it. I am slow to learn today. Bloodwood is giving me a real pain in the butt. Try a different technique. This time I'm going to drill the lanyard hole first before I do anything else. That way if it blows it apart, I'll know it's whatever, and I'll have a lot more strength on either side of it to hold together, so let's see if it works. Oh! Unbelievable. Alright then. So this time I'm going to secure the blank with the drill bits that fit in the holes nice and tight, eh? And I've got it profiled within a smidge all the way around, so in theory I should be able to route it off without much trouble. Okay, so not only did it route it off without tearing the crap out of it this time, I guess the third time's a charm. Put a round over on it too, just to see how that's going to work. It did chip a tiny bit out, but that's all going to disappear because I'm going to have to profile that down. But yeah. Alright, let's see if I can get the second one to do the same thing. That'd be so. Okay, so finally, success. After several hours and many destroyed parts, much tape. Got something to work with now. So now that I've got the two pieces started, I've taped them together so I can keep them exactly the same, and it also act as a guide for my round over router bit bearing. And I'll just run these around on the round overs, just keep going up in size until I've got a nice round over all the way around on it. Which is going to be pretty hairy because this stuff, again, loves to just tear out and blow out and become destroyed. So, but it's extremely difficult wood, you know, to sand and file and work because it leaves marks, shows marks. It's very hard, very brittle. But when you're all done, it'll be a beautiful thing. I'm going to show you that as I go along. Caught me red-handed working with some Bloodwood here. Okay, this is a select piece of Bloodwood. As you can see, it's not blood red. It is not scarlet. It is none of those things. However, little aniline dye. This is what a light wipe of aniline dye looks like on it. Doesn't look like anything. But if you do concentrated aniline dye, just going to get my camera to focus. Stop paying attention to everything in the background. Okay. Very, very red. The camera seems to be overreacting to the red. I'm not sure. We'll have to see how it looks on YouTube. Bloodwood. Dyed Bloodwood. Alright, now it doesn't look that unnaturally red to me by eye. It's like my hands don't look like they're glowing. But I guess the camera really likes red dye. So yeah, Bloodwood. Not as red as you think. This turned into quite the all-day project. So now I gotta let them air dry for a while, and then I'm gonna seal them up, and then I'm gonna apply them to the knife. Yay! It's been quite an interesting day in the shop, wrestling with Bloodwood, making Bloodwood bloodier looking, and now sealing Bloodwood using an old pen turner's trick of super glue. So I put a sealing coat of super glue all over the outside of the visible part, and now I can glue it up without worrying about the epoxy getting into the finish and doing something odd to it. So as soon as the super glue is dry, I will be applying this to the actual knife, and then I'll sand it down once it's in place and apply additional coats and buff it and do all those wonderful things. This is turning into quite the little showpiece. So I got the knife protected, masked up, pins installed, titanium pins installed. Now it's just time to mix up some G-Flex and clamp it up. It'll be done. Alright, so here it is, all glued up, all done. I'm going to leave it to dry for a good long while. Overnight. And then I'll be working on the lanyard and cleaning it up, all that good stuff.